Hey there, this is Module 2.14. We are wrapping up Module 2 with this Mastery Check quiz, and I'm going to go over a couple of examples to help you prepare. All right. Oh, and my thing is in the way. Let's move it up here. The first question says, divide 91 by 14. And I am going to rewrite that problem over here on the side. 91 by 14. Already I can tell. If you remember, I start off with multiplying by powers of 1 and powers of 10 and usually powers of 100, but you're going to see with this example right away, I've multiplied 14 by 1 to get 14, and if I multiply 14 by 10, I get 140, which is already more than my total. So I know we're going to be dealing with multiples of 1. 14 times 1, 14 times 2, something between 1 and 9 to get 91. So let's see what we find that is close. And I'm going to start with, I'm going to jump because 14 is quite a bit further away from 91. It's going to take a while to get there. So I'm going to try 5. Let's try 14 times 5. Now I don't know 14 times 5, so I'm going to write it over here and then I will erase this one. 4 times 5 is 20. Write the 0, carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 more is 70. All right, it's 70. 14 times 6. Well, I know that that would just be adding 14 more to 70, and that's easy to add. That's 84. All right, 14 times 7. I don't know that one, so let me write it out. 14 times 7. Oh, those 7 facts. Remember, you can use a multiplication chart if you want to. 7 times 4, 28. Write the 8, carry the 2. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 2 more is 9, 98. So that is too much. All right, we have found our, whoopsers. We have found our number here that we're going to multiply. 14 times 6. Now 6 is a number in the ones place. So I'm going to write that above the 1 because that is where we have our ones. 6 times 14 is 84. And then we subtract to see how much is left. 1 take away 4, I automatically said 11, sorry. 1 take away 4, I can't do that. I've got to go next door and get some more. This becomes an 8 and this becomes 11. 11 minus 4 is 7. 8 minus 8 is 0. So our answer is 6. And if you look at the boxes, here's the spot for the 6, and they want us to write this as a fraction. So when I write the answer as a fraction, I take the amount that's remaining, which is 7, and I put it at the top of the fraction. That's called the numerator. And I take the divisor here on the outside of the house that we started with, and that goes in the bottom of the fraction, which is called a denominator. Now, it also tells us that we need to put this in simplest form. If you are new to WEVA this year, this is probably something you're struggling with because we haven't talked about it. But students who have been in math here as 4th graders, you might remember this. In order to put a fraction in simplest form, I have to look at the top number and the bottom number and say, hey, can I divide those things by the same number to make this fraction smaller? And I know that I can divide 7 by 7 and I can divide 14 by 7. So I'm going to do that. Whatever I do to the number at the top, I'm going to divide the top one by 7. I need to do the same thing to the bottom number. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 14 divided by 7 is 2. So the fraction 7/14 is the same as 1/2. So my answer is actually 6 1/2. So I'll rewrite that in there. This is the answer you would need to put in the box, 6 1/2. Let's look at another problem. Rami has $52 to purchase some shirts. Each shirt costs $15. What is the maximum number of shirts Rami can purchase? They switch the words around there. Enter your answer in the box. All right, 52 divided by 15. Again, I usually start off with multiplying by powers of 1. So 15 times 1 is 15. And then I go right to multiplying by powers of 10. But just like last time, when I multiply 15 by 10, my answer is already more than what we need. 15 times 10 is 150. That's way more than 52. So we are going to be multiplying by powers of 1. 15 times 1, 15 times 2, 15 times 3, one of those numbers. So I'm looking at it 52. Well, 15 times 2, I'm pretty good at my 15 facts. 15 times 2 is 30. 15 times 3, well, that would be 30 plus 15 more. That's 45. 15 times 4, well, 45 plus 15 more. That would be 60. And we've just gone above our amount. So we know that we are going to be using the divisor 3. 3 is a digit in the ones column, so I put the 3 above the 2, lining up all my ones. 3 times 15 is 45. So 2 minus 5, I can't do that. Go next door, get some more. 5 becomes a 4. The 2 becomes a 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. So my answer is 7. I'm sorry, my answer is 3 with the remainder of 7. But they wanted to know the maximum number of shirts he can buy. He's not going to buy part of a shirt. He's only going to buy complete shirts. Nobody's going to buy a shirt missing a sleeve. That'd be crazy. So the most he can buy is 3. So the answer here is 3. One more problem to look at. This is a bigger one. Divide 4,536 by 42. 4,536 divided by 42. This is probably going to be a time where I'm going to need more of these factor tables, I call them. Here's 42 times the power of 1, 42. Now I'm going to do 42 times power of 10. And we're trying to get as close to 4,536 as possible. And you may already have in your head, hey, Mrs. Lohoff, you're going to need a bigger number than that. And you're right. 42 times 10 is 420. All right, let's multiply by powers of 100. We'll see where I'm going to go. Let's go over here. I like to keep it nice and neat, but it's not going to work. 42 times 100 is 4,200. Well, that's close. What would 42 times 200 be? 42 times 2 is 84. And then add the 2 zeros. That's way over, but we've already found our first factor, and it's that first power. It's this power of 100 is going to get us as close to this number as we can get in our trees here. So the 1 in 100 is in the ones place. So I need to make sure that I put it above the 5, because the 5 is also in the hundreds place. 100, because this 1 actually represents 100, times 42 is 4,200. And now we subtract. 6 minus 0 is 6. 3 minus 0 is 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. When I look at this number and I come back and I look at my 42 times 10, I can see that this is already too big. So we are going to be looking at powers of 1. We're not going to use a power of 10. We don't need one. So I put a 0 here because we are not going to be multiplying by any tens. Now we go to 1 and we need to get as close to 336 as we can. Well, I know that 42 times 2 is 84. And that's still pretty far away. So I'm going to jump to 6. Let's try 6. 42 times 6 equals, I don't know it, so I'm going to have to write it out. And then I'll erase this. But this is where we use scratch paper. 2 times 6 is 12. Write the 2, carry the 1. 6 times 4, 24. Plus 1 more is 25. 252. That's close. Ooh, that's a bad 2. Sorry about that. All right, let's try 42 times 7. I should just do it this way. 42 times 7. 2 times 7 is 14. Write the 4, carry the 1. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 1 more is 29. Ooh, that's very, very close. 294. So 40, let's try 42 times 8. We haven't gone over yet. 2 times 8 is 16. Write the 6, carry the 1. 8 times 4, 32, plus 1 more is 33. Oh, look at that. It's an exact match. 336. So we have found the next divisor here that we need, and that is 42 times 8. Our 8 is in the ones column, so it goes in the ones column in our answer. 8 times 42 is 336, and when we subtract that, we end up with nothing left. So the answer to this problem is 108. I hope this has been helpful and helps you get ready for the quiz. Good luck. Remember, if you have questions or concerns, make sure you come to that 1 o'clock session for extra help. Email me or give me a call. All right, bye.